This episode is sponsored by Supreme of the UK. Click the link in the description and support the broadcast.
Which, brings me into the Hussan Campbell conversation. No, but break that down.
Now, first of all, I will say, I will like to start off by saying, and I've said it on a mini build I did on CFR Network, Hussan Campbell has gone through some awful things in his life. Awful things. It hasn't been proven in court because he hasn't gone down that route. But what he alleges was done to him as a youngster, as a young teen, by a mogul, it's I couldn't imagine. And as a result of that trauma that he's going through, we are seeing, how long has he been? He's been on about 5 years.
Nah, he's been out since 2016 on YouTube.
Okay, 2016, right? Now, as I say, so that's the backstory. This brother is traumatized. Clearly, there's no diagnosis to the level of trauma, and he's not seeking any counseling to help him through this. So, as a result of this, we're seeing a literal human car crash in motion. He's outlandish. He's so outlandish with the stuff. He's like, and we're seeing it. We're blatantly seeing the highs, the lows, him crying and breaking down. The last stunt was him on a Sunday. You think about this. You're on a Sunday, and think about the wilderness of North America, a metropolitan city of New York. They have to work a lot of hours over there, man. Everything is go, go, go. Sunday is generally, for most people, their day of rest. This traumatized individual is out there taunting people, screaming at the top of his lungs. Mark, did you see when he had the bladed article behind his back?
Yeah, clocked it, and someone recognized him and tried to approach him. To show him love or whatever, and he was like, keep it moving, and he had the knife on his back.
Yes, it's worrying to say the least. I would imagine there are individuals who may have not gone through that level of trauma, but they've gone through some kind of trauma, and they're doing exactly the same thing, provoking until the reaction was, and I didn't necessarily believe this based upon what was shown initially, that he was shot, Mark. Drove himself to the hospital, and if you can continue, because he's now bigger than ever, right? He's got like a new boost of life now, right?
Yeah. So you broke that down beautifully. So for me, how it worked was like this. About around 2013, I used to be into the YouTube conscious community in New York. So I consume all kind of content, but I'd follow like Black News 102, Doggy Diamonds. Who else you got? You got Black News, Doggy Diamonds.
Black Magic 363?
I didn't watch them. Captain Tazariak.
Okay, ISP.
Yeah, I just watched these, man. Even Polite and them back in them days. They were like booming back in them days. So I'd watch little bits and stuff. And one day they had this press conference, and I'll never forget it because I was at work at the time, and they had this press conference. And in this press conference, it had all of these personalities. Young Pharaoh was one as well.
Yes.
They had all of these personalities who had brought out...
Red Pill, Blue Pill, Sarnetta himself, Sankofa was there, Dougie Diamonds was there, I think
Star
was
there.
Everybody was out there, sibling.
Now, this was on 125th, that's Harlem in New York. Now, they brought Hussan Campbell out, and he was like, African Bambata touched me, and rare, and he was saying he got molested, and he was basically breaking down what had gone on in his situation. Now, I was saying to myself, so you probably hear my son barling, but yeah, so I was trying to say to myself, I was saying to myself, whoa, this is mental. But I knew about the Zulu Nation. I'd heard about them. You know, you hear rappers mention it and with little bars and stuff. So I'm like, yo, this is kind of mad. Like, my man, who's one of the pioneers of hip hop, is being accused of doing this. So anyway, they held this press conference. It was a big thing. And then it was just over. Then a few weeks later, my man started popping up on YouTube. So he'd come on YouTube and he'd just be like in his car and he was talking about like celebrity gossip. So he'll be like, go come through where needed, man, no problem.
Okay, all right then. So, press conference, etc. So this again, as Mark's saying, this is all new, and we're like, what on earth? We had conversations back office before we even did a build. Remember we did the build about African Mabata and the something?
Yeah, I remember.
We had pushback from Zulu Nation people, people saying,
I remember.
Yeah. So we did that there. So then upon investigation, upon people reaching out, it transpires that obviously that had taken place years ago, but because of the trauma, he still saw Africa Bambaataa as a father figure, I guess, because he was one of the head security for African Bambaataa.
Yeah.
Right. There was also an incident where a young, don't know if he teenager. I'm sure he was a teenager,
15?
late teens. No. When he stabbed African Bambaataa.
The boy that he stabbed was 15.
Yeah. Right. So we've got a lot of cognitive dissonance going on, and a lot of kind of like, yeah, this stuff has happened. Now, again, growth and development, there's trauma taking place. There's clearly some kind of bond there where he is now going to defend his abuser and stab somebody. And there's this boy who initially stabbed African Bambaataa. He's gone missing. We don't even know where this individual is. So it's very sketchy, man. It's very sketchy. And this is what trauma hurt people. What do hurt people do generally?
Hurt people. Now, he started jumping on YouTube and he just weren't talking nothing about what he initially brought to YouTube. He started just like going, when I started to realize something was off with him, he had a lot of personal, like his coverage was very, very personal. So it would be like, yo, Jim Jones, I hate Jim Jones on, yo, this man. He'd like pick out certain man and just go crazy on them. Now, some of the things he was saying made a lot of sense. But then as you started to watch more and more, you realize, yo, my man's not 100% healed, you know. Like, there's something wrong with this guy. Because every few, like, months, he'd pop up on, like, a mad, drunken rant. But anyway, it's entertainment sells, and he's got some of the best numbers for, like, a YouTuber who's doing it. Man's doing it off his phone. He's never even updated his equipment or any of that. He's just doing it from his phone. But his views was off the Richter scale. Now, what's happening is he started to break into the mainstream. And when I say the mainstream, like the mainstream side of YouTube. So he was linking with like the academics. He had something lined up to go on No Jumper. He was about to break in that way. You know, like become like a bit of a Charleston White.
Yeah.
But he can't seem to maintain relationships. And he acts out of emotions. So what happened is, once he started to link with people on the mainstream side of YouTube, they started to kind of say that people started to see him for what he was. So his view count started to slow down. It was still very, very good views, good numbers, but they started to drop a lot. So before, my man would do a video, if it was a topic that was trending, he's doing 100,000 within 24 hours, no Easy. Problem. Then it stopped. That started to stop. So I think when the Diddy Cassie news come out, he thought, yo, I need to do something big to get my clout back. And it somewhat worked. Because, as you see, after all of these years of him talking about the abuse and everything that he endured, now all of a sudden Vlad's brought him onto his platform. So it has worked. You see what I mean? It has definitely worked. But he is a danger, not only to himself, but to society. And that story is kind of mad with a lot of these, like, the time that I've been kind of on the internet hard, just looking at content, every few years you get these sort of storylines that go on for years, and they always end really, really bad.
Yes.
And I believe this is one of those that I hope it don't, because I don't wish bad on nobody, but the way he's moving, if he continues, this is going to end really, really bad. It's going to end really, really bad. And that's why I say the internet is getting to that level now of, like, what I would call like the Evel Knievel era.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yo, who can do the maddest stunts? Who can say the craziest things?
Crash dummies.
Yeah, that's what it is now. We're in that era of YouTube now.
And it seems like original people are at as always. It's mad, you know. It's mad. It's like everything we do, like everything we put our hands to, we become the poster child for it, and we champion the thing. You know what I mean? Whether it's LGBTQ, LMNOP, whether it's gangster business, whether it's murder business, whatever we want to put our fingers into, we want to be or we're championed as the. Look, it's these guys. They're the ones that are doing it. Look what they're doing. Let's put them all in the algorithms. Let's get other people to watch the car crash. Now listen, as you said, Mark, you peeped it initially, and at some point you're like, I can't continue watching this content because I'm enabling a traumatized victim to continue to do the Evel Knievel crash dummy shit. Let's withdraw. Let's not feed his ego. Let's not feed his self. And how about this? How about this to his support circle, to his friends and his family? What are you doing? What are you doing? Or what aren't you doing? Because any brethren of mine, I'm seeing him all over the internet doing all kind. I'm calling him up immediately.
Yeah.
Yo, brother, are you okay? Where are you now? I'll finish work. I want to come and see you. Where you at? I need to have a face-to-face sit-down with you because I don't like what I'm seeing, brother. Well, you need to make some changes. What's going on? How can I help? Why isn't anybody doing that? What, like, you know, and they don't. And listen, and this is the era where people will do it and have their phone on live doing it or record it and all that. We're not even seeing people do that. We're not even having leaked telephone conversations by people saying, "Yeah, man, look, I'm trying, man. I'm trying my hardest to try and get this brother some help." It's like they're feeding. It's like, yeah, man, do your thing, boss. You're bubbling.
It brings money, because my member saying that he made. He said in 1 year, he made like nearly $1 million off YouTube. So you got to think
surprised.
The guys around him, because he's like, yeah, I was giving guys money and stuff. So it's like, there's a lot of enablers who are benefiting from the crash dummy behavior. Mm-hmm. So like imagine if he's talking about he's buying man cars, giving man $5,000, $10,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's guys who are going to be saying, you know what he's doing is mad, but it pays. It pays, and that's why he is watched. That's why he's so heavily watched, because people are waiting for that day. And it's, you know, he's teased it a few times, but that's what you call, like you said, crash dummy content, where people are waiting for the end, the big finale.
Yeah.
And that, it usually comes, you know, it's come with a lot of people on YouTube. I remember there was this, we'll go through.
Very quickly, Twitch, remember the Japanese or Chinese girl committed suicide live, jumps off the something?
Yeah, remember it? I remember that. I remember you had, you remember that girl, Kat Stacks? You remember her? You look how that ended really bad. See what I mean? To the point she almost got deported and that.
Yes.
Like when you run down internet, all these little internet storylines and stuff where people are like constantly filming things, constantly filming in-house things, constantly, and you've got channels that there's whole channels that are built up off of like a lot of these internet beefs and family. There's this one particular channel. Every single video is about Krishan and Blueface.
Oh my
That
God.
every move, she literally. I'm just thinking. Imagine setting up your camera and mic to make a video about some other people's drama.
As you
Every
said.
single move they make.
That's why, Mark.
That money.
That payola. People, it's like their moral sensibilities. Everyone's moral sensibilities. I'll say that loosely, has dramatically dropped. It's the bag. How many different times do we have to say it now? The bag, cost of living, everything, yeah. Luxury living, a luxury living lifestyle for someone who's not earning luxury living money. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. I want to go to Dubai, and I'm earning £26,000 a year. I'm earning £30,000 a year. I'm stacking shelves at Mickey D's. What are we doing? Goals and aspirations. I love it. I love the goals and aspirations. What are we doing to get there? Legitimately, huh?
Yeah, it's because the money's too great. There's so much money being made online that it's like other people are looking and saying, "Yo, all I have to do is behave that way, or all I have to do is, do this or do that, and I'm gonna get access to that kind of money." And that's what you're seeing happening now. Like people are doing madness because even with him, I think that was like a suicide mission. He wanted to get killed that day. He wanted to go out on a blaze of glory, I think. Like he wanted to go out, like, come outside. I think he wanted to go out, but look at the amount of revenue it generated and the amount of new viewers it will bring in. Because ultimately, this internet thing is entertainment. Some people use it for education. Some people use it for, finances. Some people use it for this. Some people use it for that. But ultimately, this is entertainment. A man will go home, sit down, put his TV on and click on that YouTube app.
Yep.
So what you're clicking on is entertaining you. And Hussan Campbell is, he's top tier entertainment. And that's the thing, top tier entertainment. And that's why it gets lost, because when people actually said to him, okay, press charges.
Yes.
He never pressed charges. He said, he's still like a father figure. What? After he done you that? But this is what I'm saying. We're at the point in time where even by questioning these things, you become the villain. And remember, I'm like someone like me, but I'm very consistent because